At the age of 24, I found myself in a situation where my now ex-girlfriend, who is 23, moved in with me due to what she claimed were some tough times. She claimed that she had lost her job, struggled to pay rent with her roommate, and eventually ended up moving in with me. This transition wasn't entirely unexpected, as she had been staying at my place quite frequently when I wasn't traveling. We had been dating for 2 years, and we got along really well. I cared deeply for her and had hoped that we would eventually build a life together. Fortunately, I had landed a well-paying job that didn't require a college degree. However, the downside was the demanding nature of the job, with long hours and no work-life balance. Around 6 months ago, considering my frequent absence and the fact that I owned a 3-bedroom house, I decided to get a roommate. Over this period, he became not just a roommate but a friend, contributing his share of the rent. Our rental arrangement was quite informal, with cash payments and a lease agreement I had printed off the internet from another landlord. Regrettably, I hadn't conducted a background check on him. I simply interviewed a few people and chose the least creepy guy. At the beginning of this living arrangement, my girlfriend and the roommate were not close. They wouldn't engage in conversation, and she would retreat to her room whenever she was around. About a month ago, my roommate approached me with a request. His high school best friend was coming to town for a 5-day concert, and he asked if I would allow him to couch surf during his stay. Normally, I wouldn't have agreed, considering the no guest policy outlined in the agreement my roommate signed before moving in. However, given his track record as a good roommate, I decided to make an exception. During his friend's visit, I observed that my girlfriend began spending a lot of time with them until late in the evening. It raised some concerns for me, but I didn't want to come off as a jealous boyfriend. Both my roommate and his friend shared a particular taste in music, which was the reason for the visit. Interestingly, my girlfriend had never been into that genre until the roommate's friend showed up. As the excitement around the concert grew, my girlfriend tried to convince me to shave my hard-earned money so she could attend the event. While I couldn't join them at the concert, realizing how enthusiastic she was about it, I ultimately decided to pay for her ticket to ensure she could experience it with them. As the second day of the concert rolled around, my initial enthusiasm for sending my girlfriend to the event started to wane. She was out all night with my roommate and his friend, and I began to feel a sense of regret. Eventually, I mustered the courage to express my concerns and asked her to stop attending the remaining days of the concert. To my surprise, she got upset, accusing me of wasting the money I had already spent on her ticket just because I was jealous. I tried to explain that it wasn't about jealousy, but rather my worry about how close she was getting to my roommate and his friend. The argument escalated, and she decided not to go to the last 2 days of the concert. She was furious with me, and for several days we shared the same room without exchanging a word. Despite not attending the last 2 days of the concert, she remained at home all day without a job. As everything returned to normal after the concert concluded, I started feeling uneasy about her apparent comfort with not working. I repeatedly asked about her job search, but she insisted she was applying without any success in getting callbacks. I became increasingly disheartened by my girlfriend's lack of ambition and her persistent state of depression, especially after her recent closeness to my roommate's friend during his visit. 2 months ago, I reached a breaking point and decided to check her laptop to verify if she was actively seeking employment. What I discovered was truly shocking. Not only was she not looking for a job, but I also found out that she hadn't been fired. She had voluntarily quit her job. Driven by curiosity, I checked her open Facebook account and stumbled upon text messages that revealed a bizarre love triangle. Apparently, she had been texting both my roommate and his friend, and the content of the messages left no room for misinterpretation. It was evident from the text that she had engaged in an intimate relationship with my roommate's friend during his visit to our home, while she was already involved with my roommate beneath my own roof. To make matters worse, my roommate seemed to be encouraging her to break up with me after his lease was done, proposing that she move in with him to share the rent. Shockingly, my girlfriend had a different agenda. She wanted a deal where she wouldn't have to pay rent at all but could live for free, exploiting our current living arrangement, even though it wasn't my original intention for her to avoid contributing financially. It became clear that she had manipulated the situation to suit her desires. Discovering the truth was like a punch to the gut. I realized they had both gone to the grocery store close to my house together, a new routine she had adopted, joining my roommate to buy groceries. It felt like a betrayal, a profound sense of deception and humiliation. I had allowed my girlfriend to stay in my house without contributing financially, only to discover that she had become a pawn in my roommate and his friends' games. I regretted not fully trusting my instincts when I initially sensed that something wasn't right. In a rush of emotions, I hopped into my car and drove to the store to confront them. I approached her calmly, insisting that we needed to talk, but not until we finished shopping to avoid causing a scene in the store. After about 25 minutes, we headed out, and my roommate went to his car. In a tense conversation, I confronted her about what I had discovered. She seemed shell-shocked but eventually admitted to everything. As we talked, a painful truth unfolded. This betrayal had been going on even before she moved into my apartment. She had been having a secret, intimate relationship with my roommate behind my back and had concocted the story about being unable to pay rent after quitting her job. She confessed that she saw my stable life, complete with my own house and a good job, as an opportunity to freeload off me. The shocking revelations continued as my girlfriend admitted that when my roommate's friend came to visit, she was attracted to him. They had engaged in a threesome and she claimed to have feelings for both of them. The truth unfolded when confronted with the Facebook messages. Fueled by anger and betrayal, I made a decisive decision. I told both of them to get out of my house. My roommate, however, refused, citing that he had paid the rent for the month. Frustrated and determined to reclaim my space, I threatened him, making it clear that if he didn't leave voluntarily, I would take necessary measures to ensure he did. I meant every word. In a moment of heated confrontation, I threw my girlfriend's belongings outside the house, and she sought refuge with her friends. Despite her apologies and declarations of love, I chose to sever all ties, blocking her on every possible communication platform. The sense of betrayal ran deep, and I needed to distance myself from the toxic situation they had created within the walls of my own home. My roommate, in response, started threatening to sue me if I kicked him out or if anything untoward happened to him. I calmly reminded him that our lease agreement was just a piece of paper I found on the internet, and I never provided him with a receipt for rent payments. Our arrangement was more of a gentleman's agreement, but considering his actions, I questioned whether he could be considered a gentleman at all. I made it clear that any consequences resulting from his stay under my roof would be on him. Fortunately, I didn't have to wait long for resolution. On the same day, he moved out, persistently threatening legal action. Despite his claims, it's been over 2 months now, and I haven't received any notice of a lawsuit. My ex-girlfriend has tried to reach out on social media, but I've blocked her there as well. While my house may now be empty most of the time, I prefer it that way. I work hard, and returning to a drama-free home is worth much more than the extra $500 I could get from having a roommate. The experience has taught me that the peace and solitude of having my own space far outweigh any financial gains from sharing it with others.